Back to the One Nation of Gamers Summer Circuit EU Qualifier number 5. We are broadcasting the Final Four, about to jump into the third place match between Leo Main and Psychree. I'm Osmo, joined once again by Aquablad, and that was a pretty rough series that Psychree just came off of, that last one.
Yeah, it almost felt it was stolen from him. He had a hard matchup anyway, but that Bane of Doom, wow. I mean, such a tough break for Psychree there, but he's got an opportunity here to win some money, get some more GEICO points, and get his World Championship point. So he's probably going to want to win this, just getting the money. Don't go home empty-handed.
Yeah, both of these players are guaranteed one Hearthstone World Championship point. So that's something that they can be pretty happy about. Keep in mind, this is sort of the final four of the qualifier that happened yesterday, so sort of the continuation. Both of these players have already played like 6 best of 5s yesterday, maybe even more, and beaten a bunch of tough opponents. And so they've earned their spot here today. And one Hearthstone World Championship point doesn't seem like a lot. It's just one, but sometimes that can be enough to push you into that bracket that you need to get to actually qualify for the regionals. So it also, so the difference, like you said, $50 for third place, $0 for fourth, 7 GEICO points for third place, 5 GEICO points for fourth, and those GEICO points add up at the end of the season. They can help you qualify for the feature tournament, and they can help you qualify for the PAX grand finals at the end of August. So
yeah,
we're going to go to... Oh, yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, if you're quite committed to playing in these qualifiers, those GEICO points become really important, because if you can hit top 4 and play quite consistently, it's going to give you an opportunity to go to PAX, which is a fantastic opportunity for not only an up-and-coming player, but, I mean, I haven't been myself, but PAX is definitely one place I'd like to go in my lifetime.
Yeah, it's going to be a really cool experience. And first matchup here is going to be this Malygos Warlock, interesting Molten Giant Malygos Warlock from Psychree versus Patron Warrior from Leo Main. So Patron Warrior does have a little bit better of a time against Malygos Warlock than traditional Handlock, but these Moltens and additional taunt givers are going to be a pretty big deal in this matchup for Psychree.
Yeah, and Psychree gets that Hellfire quite early. He probably won't find much use for it yet, but having it ready for that Patron turn will definitely be a good thing for him. And he's got, he's got a pretty decent hand going in here. He's got some minions that can contest whatever Leo Main decides to throw out here. Just dropping that Armor Smurf. He's got an Imp Boss to follow up and a Twilight Drake, so things look pretty decent for him. But the big card in Leo Main's hand, which may, depending on his couple of draws next turn, is that Forester. And if he gets that Patron and he gets that Warsong Commander, he just speeds up his big swing turns.
Yeah, definitely. Well, so actually curves out pretty well. He's got in-game boss into Twilight Drake, which is pretty much all you can ask for.
Harrison Jones not going to play a big role in this game, but a lot of the patrons are kind of feeling that it's necessary, especially in the mirror. I mean, taking out the Death Spike before his Whirlwind effect can, say, hit a patron board can be quite important in the matchup, but it's just going to be a 5/4 body in this game. Yeah. I think Implosion needs to come down quite soon before patrons start, before kind of turn 7-8. You want to use that Implosion as soon as possible, because it's going to become useless later on, because you're just giving the patron more damage and more minions.
Very true. Yeah, and he recognizes this. Instead of playing Twilight Drake on turn 4, he just goes ahead and uses the Implosion now to try and cash in on these imps while he still can, and while they're not a liability to him.
That's a good pickup for the Leo Main, getting that Death Spike. Going to be able to clear these imps. He still has a Fiery Warrax sitting there, a bit awkward. Do you just equip Death Spike here?
It's tough.
So playing Death Spike now, you do lose 3 damage from the Fiery Warrax, but if you hit face, you not only clear all the imps next turn, but you have an opportunity to take out a Sludge Belcher. If a Sludge Belcher comes down, he'll be able to take out something like the Blackwing Corruptor. So I think it's probably the best idea here. I don't really see any other line of play.
Yeah, it's gonna be a disappointing Emperor Thorsan. He's just not hitting anything good with the hand that he has right now.
I mean, this Death Spite might give him an opportunity to do some damage to some of his own minions. Maybe get a Battle Rage, which will let him draw into a better Thorsan. But yeah, right now it's not doing a lot, and it's looking like Saitree kind of has the stronger hand here moving forward.
Yeah, he's definitely got ways to deal with anything that can come out. He's got Hellfire to deal with big board of patrons. He even has Shadow Flame as well, which BGH Shadow Flame past like turn 7, turn 8 is a fantastic way to deal with those types of things as well. So he's sitting in a pretty good spot. And Liam just doesn't have a good quality hand right now. He's got Emperor Thorsan and maybe 1 or 2 good cards that can be reduced, but other than that, it's just not very good.
Yeah, it's just, like you said, it's just not doing a lot. It's a very passive passive hand. Oh, he does find the Warsong Commander, so he's got one piece of the puzzle sitting there. He does have a way to deal with this Twilight Drake with the Execute, so that is an option for him right there. But yeah, the Slam... Oh, Slam's even better, so he gets to slam this draw card, maybe draw into stuff he needs to find that Emperor Thorsan, and he gets to clear the board as well, so yeah, that worked out quite nicely for him.
Yeah, if he picks up another piece of the combo next turn, he's got a pretty decent Emperor Thorsan after that. So we shall see.
So things are now starting to look a bit awkward for Saitree now. He doesn't really have anything he can play, and that's not the draw you want to see right now. Another Blackwind Corruptor, didn't have any dragons in hand to activate. He used it last turn to develop his board further. So the Big Game Hunter does come down for some tempo here. Probably not going to find many targets. Grom potentially being the only one, but usually when Grom comes down, it's usually too late.
Yeah. I think this looks like it's going to be an Emperor Thorsan turn. I don't know if you can get too greedy with it here. This is a slower matchup, so you can afford to be a little bit greedier and play a little bit slower. Just because you have more time to draw into combos usually. Malleus Warlock isn't going to put you on too short of a clock here. And he does hit Warsong Commander, and he does hit Grim Patron. So, also Battle Rage is another big one. So if you can draw into a Whirlwind effect, you'll be in pretty good shape.
Saitree finds the Dragon to activate his Blackwing Corruptors from hand here, and gets a clean trade on that Emperor Thorsan, but the damage has already really been done. His effect has gone off, and as soon as he starts finding some Whirlwind effects, he'll be able to draw not only a lot of cards with that Battle Rage, but develop a very threatening board, which Saitree does have some responses to in his hand. He does have both, I guess, of his AoE abilities for this style of deck, so I think this match is going to go back and forth until... Well, I think until Saitree either stabilizes and the patron runs out of steam, but that Battle Rage is not going to happen. So I think it's just going to be a kind of a back and forth play. Maybe Frovin will be the big factor in this matchup.
Mm-hmm. So options here for Saitree, you could Twilight Drake Defender Vargas. It won't really do too much, but build a wall. He's got to be pretty scared here. There was 5 cards reduced from Emperor Thorsan. And if he doesn't taunt up or heal up, he'd be at 20 health, which is actually a pretty dangerous point to get to.
Oh, the Molten Giant. I quite like him keeping hold of the Argus now to taunt up that Molten Giant. He could, if he didn't tap, he could have Blackwing Corrupt into Dark Bomb. That could have been an option for him, but it looks like he's just going to do a clean trade here, which is fine as well.
Whoa. Okay. If he draws into Whirlwind, how much damage was that? 5 plus 9, 14. It's only 14 damage.
He's almost there. He just needs a few more pieces.
Yeah, a Whirlwind would have done it. And he would have not had enough mana for it, actually.
I wonder if there's any merit into doing a patron board that turn, just to draw into kind of a big... Because he drew into the Warsong. I know he had no idea he'd draw into it, but he would have had the Warsong on the Frovin. He would have Needed a few more things to make a giant throbbing, but he could have drawn a lot more cards here. If you could say maybe War Song into Patron, into Inner Rage, into Unstable Ghoul, trade the Unstable Ghoul, and then Battle Rage off that, and you would have drawn like 3 to 4 cards and maybe set up a better win condition than just the Patron.
Yeah, a lot of times Patron isn't even your win condition in this matchup. It's like for all things. Just because Patrons usually get dealt with really easily the next turn by Hellfire or Shadow Flame. Looks like Saichi's just going to build up a wall here, which is going to be tough to get through. Now, Leo Main does have a free execute. It was reduced by Emperor Thorsan, so...
Actually, going back to the last play, I just had a quick think about doing a Patron board last turn. He could have taken him down to 7 health and drawn 4 cards. I think that was a bit better than just Battle Raging for 1 and armoring up. It was a very passive play.
Yeah. This turn he could still clear the board. But he can't draw cards. He can clear the board. If he Warsong Commander, Grim Patron, Unstable Ghoul, Inner Rage the Grim Patron, throw the Unstable Ghoul into the Twilight Drake, execute the Twilight Drake, throw the 5 damage Patron into the Blackburn Corruptor, throw one of the 3 health patrons into the Defender of Argus. Be left with, I think, three patrons, and clear the board.
Again, another passive play from him, though. He doesn't opt to clear the board or use his patrons. It's interesting. I don't know. I don't know if I agree with Leo Main's kind of mentality here. He doesn't. It's almost like he doesn't want to win.
Yeah, he's actually just dead. Double Dark Bomb Hellfire kills him.
Yeah, I mean, you got to expect that sort of burst from this Warlock deck. And yeah, I think two very passive turns, not really doing a lot, not putting any real pressure on Saitri here, cost Leo Main the game.
Yeah, a little bit weird. A little bit weird. Two super... Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he was very close to piecing together a lethal. But, like you said, you have to expect a certain amount of burst from the hand. Any combination of 3 of the burn spells would have done it there. Even just like a second defender plus 2 burn spells would have done it as well. So Saichi's going to take a win in game 1 here, and Leo Main's now all of a sudden on the back foot, and Saichi's decks line up a lot better against Leo Main's decks than they did against Demo's decks, because Leo Main's running a little bit faster of a hunter, which both Druid and Warrior are better against. He's also running Rogue, which Druid doesn't necessarily have a good matchup against Rogue, but Control Warrior definitely does. Control Warrior also matches up well against Patron Warrior, so it'll be a lot easier for Saichi to take a win with the Control Warrior this time around.
And not to mention the double brawl in his Control Warrior, so he's even tacked out Elite even further to beat the Patron Warrior. But we get to see a Druid Patron here. Patron sometimes doesn't really have to do a lot to win this game. It can almost come down to, say, like a turn 6 Patron in a Rage Whirlwind, and the Druid could be really stuffed from there onwards, depending on what the board state is. It's as easy as that for a Patron to really take control of this matchup. But looking at his Patron play from last game, he lacked kind of the confidence to know what to do against Saitri's board, so maybe that can play into Saitri's favor here, having such a poor Patron game last game, and take the momentum here, kind of with his mindset.
Yeah. Not the best hand in the world. He does have Deathbite plus Acolyte of Pain, which is good, but like you said, having patrons at Whirlwind effects early is actually just super good. Both Deathbites, wow. It is the most important card in this deck, I think.
I think the coin... Yeah, I agree. I think the coin would definitely play in his favor more here, because he could just like line up Deathbite after Deathbite. He still doesn't find that Patron, though.
Saichi's hand is actually just bad. You can innervate out something here, or coin out something here, but...
Where's the Dr. Boom when you need it?
Yeah, exactly. Turn 3 Dr. Boom would be pretty fantastic. Coin True to the Claw is vulnerable to execute, but that's about it. Um, Azure Drake is really vulnerable to Deathbite, so you really don't want to have to do that. Alright, so True to the Claw it is.
That's probably his best play there. Even if he gets execute, he's got another one to follow up next turn. And he gets to see the Death Bite. No, oh no, he won't. Oh, sorry, I'm thinking he's on 5 mana for some reason. So he doesn't get to see the Death Bite yet, so he might play into it with the Azure Drake. We'll have to see.
I think he's just going to play another Druid Claw. We're going to be back to the same position. Whoa, Ooze is actually a big pickup. It might be a little bit of a liability with Acolyte of Pain on the board, but if he plays Druid of the Claw this turn, and the Deathbite is set up the next turn...
Yeah, definitely gives him some options. I think Ooze, if he can find some better cards in his next draw, Ooze might be better to hold on to where when he predicts a patron turn's coming down to reduce the magnitude of the board development. But he might not have time in this matchup. It depends. Well, I don't know. Leo Main's hand is quite slow right now, but he doesn't know that obviously, so he might not feel he has time to sit around and wait for the perfect opportunity to remove a weapon. I might just take what he can get.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to have to slam here. Once again, not develop a Deathbite. If he doesn't draw into anything solid, he's just going to have to pass over the turn. And that doesn't feel good. He did have an opportunity... Actually, no. If he developed Frothing Berserker, then it wouldn't have even gotten up to enough damage to be able to challenge the Druid of the Claw. So he can just pass here, line up for a Deathbite next turn, and it'll still work out pretty nicely. He just won't get extra value out of the Acolyte of Pain. Only one draw from each of those.
I mean, you can stop the draw here instead of, which is pretty much more important than dealing damage. So looking at the side tree, you can Azure Drake and fish or something. Maybe get a Wrath. He hasn't seen a Deathbite yet. I mean, if I was side tree, I'd be wondering if he even has one. He's had opportunities to play it, but it just hasn't lined up with the Druid of the Claw. So he might know that the Druid... Oh, a Sludge Belcher, that's pretty decent right now.
Wouldn't be surprised to see him innovate out of Shade here.
Yeah, that's definitely the play. Sludge Belcher actually, I go back on that, isn't that great because the Deathbite is going to be able to deal with it pretty easily. But it still protects his Azure Drake, which is not bad.
If he develops Deathbite this turn, which is pretty much 100% likely... Uh-oh, Leo Main's got a visitor.
No coaching allowed, sorry. Move along.
Yeah. His grandma's like, play the Deathbite. Get out of here, Grandma. Told you not to bug me when I'm playing Cardstone.
She's off to play Magic the Gathering.
Yeah. She's probably coming in to see why he's not accepting her Tavern Brawl challenges.
So, Deathbite with what exactly? Do you commit an Armor Smith here? I think it's better to keep hold of that for the Deathbite effect. And the same with the Unstable Ghoul, you kind of want that to line up with the Patron, so he just has to kind of armor up here and pass.
Yeah, I think he's just going to get punished by Ooze here. He could just play Ooze Belcher and be in a really great spot. Push through for some damage.
I completely forgot about that Ooze for us. You often seen Harrison in place of Ooze in Druid. I find Ooze is something that's more tacked into kind of handlock, which I've noticed because they don't really need the card draw, and it's kind of a quick response to kind of like Eaglehorn Bows and Glaive Zukas and stuff like that. But yeah, this is a really strong play for him. Sets up a really strong board. The Belcher's protected, and this Deathbite is going to need his Death Rattle effect to really effectively clear the Belcher. So it might just be a Forest on here, I think. I don't really see anything else he can do.
If he just plays Thorstein, he's dead.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
The Savage Roar swipe. In fact... Oh, nope, this protects him. Okay.
That's a good play.
Yeah. Whoa, draws combo, though. So next turn, he's going to be able to combo next turn, as early as next turn.
So I guess you run into I've lost my words there. So yeah, you get to get the 1/2 slime instead of it taking damage. Gets to draw more cards now, develop a 5/5, and next thing he has combos sitting there waiting. Really strong line of play coming for Saitree here.
Hmm.
Even more burst damage
Yeah,
with a bit of ramp to boot.
I think I'd cash in on the shade here.
Oh,
Cash in on the shade
most definitely,
damage.
most
Yeah,
definitely.
because you know that just this Death Spite plus one extra Whirlwind effect is going to punish it, and
You're
I
that
think
close to lethal now. It's worth swinging in for 4 and not risking it, like you said, from the whirlwind.
yep. The only thing it's vulnerable to is execute, and it's not even really that vulnerable to it because you probably would have just executed last turn with a bunch of mana to float. This doesn't really change the dynamic of the hand much. He can Worst on Commander. He can throw in the Deathbite, Worst on Commander, and like throw his Armor Smiths into these two. The two creatures that are going to have 1 health left remaining. He is going to gain 5 armor potentially, which actually won't be enough to save him. I think he'll still be dead to just the Ancient of Lore plus combo. Oh no, double armor smiths. I know he's going to get a lot more than that.
Yeah, it was a really good play from protecting himself from the combo once again. Leo Main's showing some good kind of presence of that combo is a threat, and he's played around it every turn, and rightly so. So he's playing well. He's just not having the he's playing well in comparison to the last game anyway, but he's just not having the cards he needs to kind of shut out this Druid.
Oh, Ancient of War is actually a big pickup. I wouldn't be surprised to see him just Ancient of War and innervate out at Hero Power to take out this Warsong Commander.
Oh, most definitely. Ancient of War is a card that's kind of popularized by Hawkeye, DreamHack, running that Ancient of War.
With really combo.
Yeah, it's a good against patrons. You know, it's a bulky minion, 10 health. It's really hard for them to punch through it without executes. So it's been picking up quite a lot of popularity in some of the mid-range druids. Yep, here it comes. Innovate. Ancient of War. Things are looking bleaker and bleaker for Leo here. He's going to need to find something in his
Brutal
death.
Riot.
Slimy can fish. You can find something here, but an execute, slam, battle rage, I don't know.
Shield block. Well, he's picking up ways for himself to just like live. Let's see, combo will do 14 plus 14, 28. So he actually doesn't have a way to get out of combo range because this is 27. So I think he's dead.
Doesn't opt to even play the unstable goal to protect himself.
Yeah, it's sort of like too defensive. You need a way to actually win the game. And
we haven't seen any whirlwinds.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But Saichtree's actually going to take a pretty quick 2-0 lead. This is a lot different of a landscape than the last best of 5 that he was in. And now, picking up the win with the Druid in the second match is actually a huge deal because he went into an unfavorable matchup, took a win, and now he's got 3 opportunities to win with Control Warrior, going into 3 favorable matchups. So the odds that he finds just 1 win with the Control Warrior are actually really high. Even if it takes him a couple tries, going into 3 favorable matchups can't really ask for much more.
Yeah, he's in a very strong position here. I think Leo Main's picks from now on probably don't matter. He's got to win 3 bad matchups anyway. I would probably drop the Patron from this next game. He hasn't found much luck with it just yet. Maybe play a more streamlined deck like the Hunter, and then kind of ease into his more combo decks after. He needs to just find a win to get some kind of morale back, but also build some momentum.
Yeah, momentum can play a big part in how these play out. So he's going to throw out the Hunter. Now this is a faster Hunter, but he does have some mid-range elements. Paladin Shredder is a card that I think it's super good. Even putting it in like Face Hunter improves your matchup so much across the board. So I really love that card. Even in the super fast, just go for face type hunters. And wow, look at this hand from Saichi. He's got weapons plus Whirlwind to deal early on. He's got Harrison Jones to get rid of weapons in the mid game. Pretty decent. Pretty decent.
Yeah, he's just got all the options really. 2-1 abusive. You just want to get a 1 drop down as hunter, even if you don't get the effect. But will we see a coin fiery war axe? I think you do here, because then it makes his next play, be it say a mad scientist or a knife juggler, even weaker because it just gets taken out by the war axe. But he does have a haunted creeper, which is a little bit better. But he does have the whirlwind to follow up, so he does have options. This you just decide to pass. I guess no, actually I prefer that because the whirlwind will help him clear up the abusive sergeant. So this is looking pretty good.
Yeah. Curves out nicely. Harrison Jones to take out the inevitable Eagle Horn bow. Shield Maiden to get that health gain in that body.
Even some card draw thrown in there with the Acolyte, so he's got some synergy with that Death Spike coming up, and even the Whirlwind, but most likely the Whirlwind's going to be used to clear. But yeah, it's looking really strong for Side Tree here. Leo Main, bit clunky with 2 weapons, but it is Hunter. You know, Hunter's capable of a lot of things. Maybe he'll find what he needs to push through and win.
This is slightly awkward, though.
I wonder if there's any merit to keeping the coin there. I would like to maybe have kept the coin for Harrison. But it looks like he just wants to clear this board, all of these minions as fast as possible. If he had watched any of Leo Main's games, he knows it's more aggressive hunter. So this definitely plays more to facing against an aggressive hunter, because you just want to clear stuff as much as possible, not let him get any kind of extra damage in.
Yeah. Well, now we can play the Acolyte of Pain to just line up with this Hana Creeper and like sort of guarantee himself extra draw.
And he gets clear of the axe, so kill command activate is gone, and he gets a death spite next turn, so it's looking really good for him. Another clunky draw. The Eagle Horn Bow will clear up the Acolyte of Pain here, but that just takes away 3 more damage to the warrior, and he's still got a lot of health gain coming through his deck. Both Shield Maidens, 1 to 2 shield blocks, this hero power. And it'll get to a point where the warrior will be hero power in every turn, just to stop that hero power from the hunter. So it's just looking fantastic.
Yeah, and we might be getting to a point where okay, never mind. Pilot Shredder's picked up. That's probably going to be the play here, and he's most likely going to cash in on this weapon, so he's not going to give Harrison value just because he has second Glaive Zuka in his hand. The Harrison will eventually get value, but just not quite yet.
Ah, brawl. One of 2, might we add.
Mm-hmm. Don't know if he's going to want to use it here. Probably just check to see what's going to come out of this Pallet of Shredder, play Armor Smith, Armor Up, potentially. I think you definitely want to hold on to the Harrison. And yeah. River Croc is actually really annoying. He's got a high health total, so it's going to be tough for him to take out.
River Croc is usually better for the mid-range hunter, though, with that high master synergy.
Mm-hmm.
But having that free health, like you said, is a bit of a pain. Fiery War Axe does clear it up, but we've already seen one of them go, and a Death Spite, so he's running short on weapons and removal in his hand right now. So this gives Leo Main an opportunity to really start pushing some damage through. He's got the Glaive Zuka. He's got potentially a Huffer if he can find it. But if he kind of want to maximize his mana here, he might run Glaive Zuka, Hero Power, and either a Knife Juggler or an Explosive Trap. So I think that's using a lot of resources in your hand, and he's going to run out of steam soon, so he's got to consider that. There's a lot of factors to consider when playing Face Hunter. A lot of people do kind of see it as this kind of smoke deck, go face, no skill. But you know, it does take a good deal of skill.
Yeah. And this is actually really the most efficient way to put on damage. He gives the buff to the River Croc. So this way, if he gets Huffer, he can trade Huffer into the Armorsmith. If he gets Leok, he can trade the River Cross. If he gets Misha, he can just ignore it and just go face with both. So
the response here, maybe Harrison.
Harrison will get you a draw, but nothing else because he won't be able to utilize the extra mana to Shield Slam because Shield Slam would be useless. The River Croc would just trade into Harrison. This is actually really tough. Yeah, I think Shield Maiden is just too good to pass up here. He really wanted that Harrison to line up with the Eaglehorn bow, but unfortunately it just didn't work out like that.
Yeah, the Harrison's a greedier play. But
Holy moly.
A lot of damage coming through here, and he's going to get to use that weapon as well. Oh wow, 6 health.
So this is probably where the brawl is going to have to come out. But if he gets unlucky with the brawl, then it's basically just over. Like if Knife Juggler comes out of the brawl, then he's staring at 5 damage next turn. He's going to only be at 8 health. Any sort of damage is going to punish him.
Is there any merit here to clearing the Knife Juggler?
Just armor up, shield slamming the Knife Juggler, and then...
Well, I was thinking...
here we go. Okay.
That's not too bad. I mean, if he cleared the Knife...
power.
If he cleared the Knife Juggler, he would have removed the biggest threat, and he would have kept his Shield Maiden alive, and he had the potential of keeping it from the brawl. But he decided Leok was more of a threat at that point.
Yeah. He just needs to survive for one more turn to be able to get Alex Straza up on himself. And this lines up perfectly. Sludge Belcher, armor up, shield slam. And I think unless he can pick up a kill commander, a quick shot here, that might just lock him out of the game. Because once Alex Straza comes out next turn, Lumine's out of resources. He needs to pick up the direct damage, and that's not it.
Yep, Alex is going to swing things straight in Scytree's favor. And then after the Alex, where he gains all the health, he's just going to start dropping the power plays, Dr. Boom, Ysera.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be impossible for this Face Hunter to come back. Because he's going to be able to armor up every turn as well, so he's going to nullify that hero power.
He can even attack into the explosive trap here, bring himself to 1. Actually, I don't know. If he knows it's explosive, he might kill the Mad Scientist to get rid of the secret. To get rid of the value from the secret. But attacking into the explosive trap would give him like the maximum amount of life gain possible.
He does run both though, right? Or does he just run... No, that was the other Hunter player. So yeah, this is a great play for him here. Takes himself down to 1, back up to 15. Hunter player sighs because he knows all that hard work he had done is gone.
All the smorking, and Kill Command comes up as the next card. Heartbreaking right there. That would have been the game if he had drawn it 1 turn earlier. I mean, he's still going to be able to push through some damage, but with Armorsmith in the hand, I don't know. This is going to be tough for him to be able to mount a comeback.
And this little doggy's going to be left there. This secret is explosive again, I imagine. Which actually just plays sort of into his favor because he can gain he can gain a lot of armor. So he could play this with, say... So he'll gain 1 armor here. He could play Harrison Jones if he wanted. Oh, he just concedes, yeah.
Wow.
It gotten to the point, especially when the Armor Swift came down, that Leo Main realized that there was just no way he was coming back. There was just too much health coming to the warrior. And, you know, Scythree showing he's an excellent player. And I think even though he lost in the bracket, he definitely showed some talent, some excellent decision making, and some good deck building as well. Some original deck building that caught his opponents by surprise.
For sure. I really enjoyed the Malygos Warlock deck in particular from Scythree, just with the Molten Giants and some extra taunts thrown in. He had a lot of success with that deck, picking up wins in his first matchup, and I think both series. So Leo Main as well, we do need to commend his effort for making it this far. This wasn't just a one-off thing where these guys were in. This is the continuation of the qualifier that they had already played in. He'd already beaten some big names. He beat Hoj, Super JJ, and Freaky in the actual tournament. So took out some notable names. He'll go home with 5 Geico points and 1 World Championship point, and Saichi will win $50, 7 Geico points and 1 World Championship point. So both these guys not going home empty-handed with their performance here.
Yeah, well played to both. Liu Ming fell short on some games in both matches he had. Just some bad draws. His patron in this set in particular didn't really have the power. It didn't really show the power patron has, whereas in the first series he was swinging for like 40 damage with Frothing Berserker. So we saw kind of patron at his highest point, whereas we saw it as kind of his lowest point. But overall, well played, especially as a side tree. I really enjoyed watching his games. The potential he has in both deck building and kind of decision making as well. So very strong up and coming player. I hope we see more of him in the future.
Yeah, I think we will. And we do have one more match to go today. It is going to be the finals of EU Qualifier number 5 between Let Me Farm and Demo Senok. So we are going to go to a few-minute break before we jump into that. During the break, make sure you guys head over to geico.onog.gg, get your Geico quote, sign up for the newsletters, and you'll also enter in to win an official TSM PC. If you scroll down on that site, you'll get the specs for the PC, which are pretty crazy. And you can get more information, the upcoming schedule for broadcasts, how Geico point system works, and just more information about the summer circuit as well. So we are going to go to a couple-minute break, but the finals will continue right after this break.